everyone. Got another lock clamped up in a vise for you today. Today we're looking at this one here. It's called Click Click Fail, pinned by Pickme1977. And true to Pickme fashion, this is his title was kind of prophetic. I did click, and I did fail many times. Thank you for sending me this lock, Pickme. It's given me a few hours of enjoyment, but now that I've picked it a few times, I'm pretty certain I can get it on camera. So I want to start out with this pick here. This is the offset hybrid from Sparrows. I just put a walnut handle on it. So let's go ahead and start from the bottom. And this is in 15 thousandths. So pretty thin pick. And I'm kind of attacking this lock like I've already done it because, you know, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've picked this lock maybe a dozen times before I really kind of figured out its tricks. So, and it kind of belies the difficulty of the lock a little bit, but I'm not going to lie. I'm getting some counter rotation here and over counter rotated it. So I wound up dropping some pins down. Okay, I've got a false set off of the last pin in this lock. That's some pretty strong counter rotation. I got to be super careful here because I've lost this pick so many times at this point. And okay, I think I got it past that point. I did kind of overdo it and dropped a pin in the back, but I finally got it. I'm going to change up though and go with a medium hook from Sparrows with another walnut handle. Okay, that's pin 2, and I've got some strong counter rotation. Super slow, super careful. Okay, I got that one set. I didn't drop anything. And I was getting counter rotation on pin 3 after that. Okay, I still am. It's just very muted. So I'm going to have to crank it back manually. There we go. And that's how it opened up. Yeah, it seems like I got that one quick, guys, but like I said, I've spent many hours picking on this lock, and it definitely wasn't my first try. So let's go ahead and get the pinning tray out. Let me dust it off real quick. Got a little sawdust in the room. And one of the other things I did to make it a little easier on me is this was actually in the back of it, and the way it stayed on there is well, it was being counterproductive to picking, because once I got it turned just a little bit this ring would catch and I would just think it was in a false set. I probably did that maybe 5 times before I realized that that ring was catching on me. So there we go there. Okay, so let's go ahead and take my, well, I guess any pick. Let's go with the pick I just made. I made another one of my deep hooks and put a rose, or not a rosewood, that's a purple heart handle. I probably shouldn't have put that ring back on there. It's actually making the gutting a little bit more difficult here. There we go. Got that off now. Okay, the little spring doesn't want to come out, so no biggie. Ooh. But I did shake that thing up to a point where I 180'd it, so that's not a good thing. So, see if I can't recover that. There we go. All right. Since I didn't want to turn around, I imagine there's probably a T-pin in there. So I'm definitely going to shim this bad boy. And you definitely tell here too. We're definitely going to see something in here because I could tell Pickme's been in the top on this one. Okay, so I got the key pins towards me. And we can see right away that they all needed to be picked. And I do see some core mods here. I see countermilling in 3 and threads in 1, 2, 5, and 6. So let's go ahead and dump these pins out. Once we get all these pins dumped out, we'll take a nice close look at them. And that's just a piece of dirt. But yep, threads and countermilling. Okay, one's not, well, I guess it was somewhat stuck, but not really very stuck. It's a hell of a serration. And I'm already seeing, there's my T-pin. I'm already seeing a lot of threads in here. That's probably a drunken spool. Yep, there's the wafer. Man, some really nice pins. Heavy serrations. Not exactly what I'm used to seeing from Pickme, and these are really nice. And all these serrations really explain why I was getting so much crunching in here. But let's go ahead and look inside this plug. You can see threads in chambers 6 and 5 and 1 and 2. 3 and 4 are left plain. Alright, so let's go ahead and zoom in on these awesome pins, show you what Pickme stuck in here. Okay, so we got a single serration here for chamber 1 on the key pin, and it's a really sharp lip there. Catching those threads nicely. Then I've got a, I would actually call this a serrated spool. It's got a really sharp serration up at the top, a wider serration, and then this looks like this serration, the second to the bottom serration there, is a little bit smaller in diameter. That's why I'm calling it a serrated spool. And it's got a steel spring. Then I've got a very nicely executed, very sharp serrations in the key pin on 2. I've got a heavily serrated spool for the driver, and there's a copper spring. That is a slightly reduced diameter standard, and that is a serrated T-pin, and that's got a steel spring. I've got a T-pin key pin that looks like it has a slight serration. And then, oh, I don't want to make it fly too far. And then I've got a serrated drunken spool. Very, very cool. Here's the wafer that goes under it, so it can really lean left and right an extra amount in the chamber. And a nice another steel spring. Another very nicely serrated. Topped off with another very nicely serrated with different depths of serrations, different widths of serrations. All to get tangled up that much better with a copper spring. Another really sharp single serration for the key pin in 6. And another really, really nice driver pin. It's got a really tight serration at the top, followed by a wide one, and then some wider ones. Almost spool-like, but they're all got very, very sharp edges. And if I turn it back around the right way. And that one's got a copper spring in it too, so very nicely done. Pickme, thank you very much for the lock. I really appreciate it. And yeah, it's given me a lot of fun and, well, a little bit of aggravation here and there. Everyone else, please stay safe. Don't do anything illegal. And if you see a lock and it's not yours, don't pick it.